Hey guys, it's Ariston. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing an overview of a hilt that I just finished up, my Scrapflex lightsaber. This will be the first lightsaber that I have completed 100% of the work on myself. I have done some hilts in the past, Star Killers and a few others that I've built up. This one, I did the chassis design, hilt work, as well as the install. This will be my first official video on the channel, so if you guys would, please do leave a like and subscribe at the end of the video if you did enjoy the content. Without further ado, let's get into the build. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get into this hilt overview. So I started by using a Corbanth Scrapflex 2.0 kit. These kits are extremely popular in the saber community. If you've ever seen Nerf Herder Customs or Solo Sabers, Dimbic Relics, a lot of different people do the Scrapflex 2.0 kits and make them custom. Let's go ahead and get started with the top. Let's do emitter down to the pommel. For starters, I have a blade plug that I made from some Canon Y flash greeblies. I used a couple of the little knobs and greeblies for the blade plug, as well as the little piece that you see down there with the little vents. That's an electric shaver piece straight from the boy Benji Graham, and that's kind of his signature blade plug. So to pay a little homage to him, I added those to that, and that's what I'm using as the blade plug for this guy. Moving on from that, we have a little bit of heat staining up here. Now I use just a blowtorch. I don't like the super blued look of the heat staining, so I kind of opt for more of the straw color, darkish brown. And then I hit it with a little bit of aluminum black and quadruple zero steel wool to sort of buff that finish and make it a little more uniform. Moving on from that, we have our Roman Props Glass Eye. This is the TFA variant, sort of the brassed out, sanded down knurling. I hit that with some brass black as well to sort of weather it up. And my favorite part of this whole build is the Hasegawa mesh behind the eye here. It's for Japanese model making. Took a minute to get here from Japan, but it's totally worth adding to your build. Next up, we're going to take a look at the switches. I was absolutely determined to use one of these micro tactile ball switches as the auxiliary. However, it was a pain in the butt to get in there. I ended up having to make like a shim and put it under the switch so that it popped back up through the shroud after carving the wire channels in my core. Next time, I'll probably opt for a clamp card activation or a switch box on the back like some of my Star Killers. Next, let's move on down to the clamp. This is a Roman Props replica Scrapflex clamp. The one that comes with the 2.0 kit doesn't have the Scrapflex stamping, which I think is a really cool addition to the Scrapflex aesthetic. I know I'm going to break some hearts with this one, but this is a vintage Scrapflex ink lever. I just think that they look a lot better than the replicas, and it's kind of an OCD thing, so I just weathered that up and put that on there. This is a Wanawanga bubble strip, one of the newer variants, and underneath that I have a stock NeoPixel LED strip specifically made for these bubble strips. They fit right underneath. I also darkened the lettering on the Scrapflex clamp with a bit of black acrylic paint. Got it in all the grooves and all the letters. I did a little heat staining on the clamp as well to sort of match the upper portion of the shroud. Gave it that same aluminum black and steel wool treatment. Really happy with how that turned out. On to the next thing here. On the 2.0 kit, it comes with a core that is a ribbed core. It looks sort of like the Luke Saber underneath of the Scrapflex shroud. So I cut the Scrapflex shroud up past one ring here, so I have one ring exposed. Some people choose to do two. I kind of liked the look of the one. To make this cut really easy, you can get a pipe cutter tool and it'll cut a perfect circle around the shroud for you, and it just cuts it straight off and makes it very clean, very nice. So yeah, there's a little tip for you. Moving on down to the grip section, I used a MHS Scrapflex 2.0 adapter along with a MHS 4-inch extension. I then got a Defcon bird leather wrap from eBay. These are now available at thecustomsabershop.com if you're interested in doing a build. So now you can get your grip and your leather all in the same place, which is super cool and awesome that they have that partnership. Moving on down to the Kobold clip here. This is just the cheap Kobold that came with the Scrapflex 2.0 kit. Word to the wise, I would not use the torch on these Kobolds right here. The metal is so cheap underneath the coating that it actually started to bubble out. so I would highly suggest not doing that. However, I was able to save this one by just grinding off the excess. It was used on a scrap hilt, so I wasn't super worried about it, but anything nicer, I would not use that torch on that. Moving on down here to the pommel, this is a Solos Hold TFU2 style pommel. This has got to be my favorite pommel in the game. I think is one of the most unique looking pommels. Under here, some of you may have spotted I used a Solos Hold Gen 1 mystery chunk down there. I thought that looked kind of cool. I thought it was missing something somewhere, and I was like, I need to add a little greebly somewhere, so I added this little mystery chunk down here to the pommel. I also weathered the pommel with a bit of aluminum black, and I hit it with some steel wool and sort of buffed all the corners. Next, I'll show you guys the chassis that I designed in Fusion 360 and printed up. Nothing too fancy, I wanted to keep it pretty simple. I did do a sanding down a little bit with some fine sandpaper, and I hit it with a little bit of rub and buff. I got some Arabesh here. It's kind of hard to make out now that I've done all the treatment to it. One side says my business name, Apollo Industries, and the other side says Scrapflex. This hilt is rocking a CFX board, a Smuggler's Outpost 28mm Elite bass speaker. There's really no other choice for that in my opinion. It's a really great speaker. They keep power 18650 lithium ion removable battery setup here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's test some fonts. Another unique thing about the Scrapflex is the boot sounds. These are Rob Petkow's boots to the head. Another idea that I borrowed from my really good friend Benji. I just think it sounds really good on a Scrapflex. You'll notice those different boot sounds rather than the classic sound bank selection. I think those sound way better in my opinion. So yeah.
Ascension.
You can see that Heskala mesh there behind the glass eye shining through. Probably my favorite part of the saber, along with the NeoPixel bubbles here. I just think those look really unique on a Scrapflex. A little blade plug there. This is Ascension by K Sith, by the way. Got a twist off, twist on. Let's see what we got up next here.
Ascension. Desolation.
Desolation. Love that ignition on Desolation. Got a slight unstable going on here. You can see it in the bubbles, wired in line with the blade. See that flash on flash?
Desolation.
Aggression. No, the saber's not broken. That's just a boot noise. Got a little unstable action. Now let's demo a couple of these fonts with the blade in. All right, we're gonna test a couple of the fonts here that we just looked at.
Ascension.
All right, here we go. Blaster blocks. You can see the bubbles there. All right, let's try another one.
Ascension. Desolation.
All right, here we go. I love that subtle unstable with the amber blade on the Scrapflex. Lock up. Santa Corelli, baby. I use a light blue on this font. It's not really the color that's supposed to go with it, but it's the one that I really like with this font. Still one of my all-time favorites.
I'm Cal.
Cal Kestis, just for fun. Oh, it's a red blade. Let's change the blade color. Let's go with that. Nice royal blue. Oh yeah. This is by Kyberphonic. Part of his Cal Kestis pack. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed that little demo. Again, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.